Okay, we're gonna use coils again, but we're gonna build with a template. So we are not gonna see our coils on the outside anyway, because in the end we're gonna learn a new greenware technique called sgraffito. So we need a nice smooth surface to do that with. So you can either choose either one, or if you wanna create your own vase, you can. Just make sure that it's symmetrical, meaning that if I folded these in half, that they would be the same on either side. So you can make your own template if you'd like. These are printed on cardstock, so if you're gonna make your new one, please make sure to do it on a heavy paper or a piece of cardboard. So if you're gonna choose one of these, go ahead and fold it in half to create that line, and then we're gonna cut out along the template line. So you'll have two pieces that look like this. One being the vase and one being the cutout. This is the important part. And if you would like to back this with masking tape to make it a little sturdier, go for it. Here's the real important part. This edge down here needs to go away. So it will look something like this. Okay, so we're gonna cut this away so that it looks like this. Okay, real important. This is gonna drive you nuts if you've got it. So make sure that you end up with something like this, okay? And this is what I will use to check my form as I build. And I should have a pot in the end that's very similar in size to this, okay? So to start, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put my template aside. I'm gonna need that here in a moment. And I'm gonna start with just taking a small amount of clay and kind of creating a little hockey puck. And you want this puck to be no bigger than 2.5 inches. So grab your rulers or some form of measurement, and mine is about 2, so you can see that, okay? The thing that you want to do is make sure that your edges are fairly even, and those are going to be really no bigger than like a 1/2 inch, maybe a little smaller than that. And if we just roll it on the table and kind of compress it down, when I get to my 2 inches, then I do want to compress so that we do not get any S cracks. Okay, so just X's, right? And then I suggest if you have a Lazy Susan, awesome, or a banding wheel, but do put it up so that you can look at it and turn it at eye level. Something else that works great if you don't have a Lazy Susan is a piece of newspaper, because it's easy to turn, so like a gathering of newspaper, and you can leave that not covered with plastic because we want our base to kind of set up. So we're starting with our base, okay? And we're gonna check our template with that too. So where am I at in the design? So get real used, and I'm gonna kind of flatten it out a little bit more to come out and meet my template. So do you see what I'm doing there each time? I'll get a little closer when I start with the coils, okay? But even now, I'm checking my template. And then I wanna make sure that each coil that I roll is about the thickness of my thumb. We're not gonna see them, so they can be a little bit thicker for this build. And I wanna build with 3 at a time. So I'm gonna put 3 on my base here today. And I wanna make sure that all the coils are doing the same thing. So I'm putting fresh clay to fresh clay, so I'm not gonna score and slip. And when I meet the next one, I'm just gonna overlap them a little bit and then rip it apart. Okay, you can also overlap them and cut them with your fork knife tool. Move this a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, what you want to make sure of is that the very first one you put on comes out to meet that template. So I'm pushing it to that template because for this design, I want it to start going out. So I put it right on top of the puck, of the base, and then I'm rolling it out to meet the template. Okay, and I did that on every side, so everybody should be about doing the same thing. And I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go straight on top. I don't want to end where I ended last so that you don't build up too much bulk. Okay. All right. And remember, we're going to smooth these together. And then again, I'm going to check my template and I'm going to push out to meet it. Now, what happened when I did that was, oh, this coil is not big enough. I can just add a little bit of another coil in to get there. Okay, so I can just add a little piece. So as long as you're the same thickness to that coil, each of your coils could be a little different, but you want the thickness to be the same so that you're even throughout. Okay, and then the last one, the third one, and again I'm starting from a new place so that I don't get too much thickness. And this one's a little bit short too, but that's okay. I'm just going to add in a coil, and then I'm going to check with my template to make sure that everything's going the way that it needs to be, and it should be nice and cozy up to that template. So you're going to rely on this template quite a bit, and you want to fix anything right away as you're going, so then in the end you won't end up with the loosey-goosey design. Remember, our goal for this one is symmetry. Okay, so we want to make sure that the build is symmetrical. Now that I have 3, I'm going to start to smooth. So if you want, you can use your smoothing tool. You can just use your hands. The other thing is, we smoothed the inside last time. Now we're going to smooth the outside. You can leave your coils on the inside if you want to, or you can smooth both. Totally up to you. Okay, and while I'm smoothing, I want to make sure that I'm going up or down. I like to go up to kind of so that my coils don't get to be smushed on top of each other. And that's also why we're building with 3 first and then smoothing, is so that we don't lose the structure of our pot. Sometimes if you just put a coil and then smooth it, then you lose a lot of your coil. This way we've got a substantial amount of clay that we're able to get into that little base form. Okay, so I would smooth that all around in one direction, and then I would smooth it then again in the other direction. Okay, and you could do this all with your hands. Okay, and if you need to, in the end, a metal rib can be very helpful. Remember, we've got fresh clay, so there's no need for water at this point. A water would just break it back down into slip. So once you have it all smooth, okay, so we went from that to that, and I kept my coils on the inside. I've got a little one that's done. Okay, I want to go around and check to make sure that that fits right up against my template in all the spots. Now remember, if you've got that little tag, it's not gonna fit and it's gonna be frustrating. So make sure that you cut that off, okay? And do I really wanna fit close to this template? Yes, you do. You should fit snug to the template. And then you'll start to build, and then you won't get any bigger than this. It's gonna be a small build. So once you get your 3 coils done today, do give it a little bit of a rest so that it can kind of bond itself together before I start building on it, so that it doesn't get wider and wider. So I do want you to take, and just like we did before, wrap the rim nice and tight, and then let the rest kind of billow. Now, if I want to come back later on this afternoon, you sure could. Maybe you could leave it out for a little bit, but don't forget to come back and cover it if you're not going to work on it. And then the next one, you would take your fork knife tool and I would score, okay? So tomorrow's video is going to be kind of just building the rest of it, what the finish is, and how to smooth it out, okay? All right, and that's it for today. So 3 coils and then give her a cover up. Okay.